Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Duo English. I'm Emily.
And I'm Ben. Good to have you here.
Quick question before we start. Have you ever had something useful to say in English, but you stayed quiet because you were worried about how you would sound?
You prepare the sentence in your head, and by the time you feel ready, the conversation has already moved on.
That happens to so many learners. Often, the problem is not your English, it is the pressure you put on yourself.
A lot of learners think the real problem is their accent. They believe that if they sounded more like a native speaker, they would finally feel confident.
Today, we want to challenge that idea. You do not need a perfect accent to sound confident. You need clear ideas, calm pacing, and a few phrases you can trust.
We are going to look at 5 common confidence myths and show you what works better in real conversations.
So if you speak too fast when you're nervous, freeze in the middle of a sentence, or apologize for your English too often, this episode is for you.
Let's get started.
The first myth is that confidence means having a perfect accent.
It can feel true. You may think people will take you more seriously if you sound more like a native speaker.
But think about confident professionals you have heard speaking English. Many of them have noticeable accents, and they still sound clear, capable, and in control of their message.
Their confidence comes from how they organize their ideas, use pauses, and continue after a small mistake. Pronunciation matters when it affects understanding, but that is different from trying to erase every sign of your first language.
Here is how two different attitudes can sound. I'm sorry about my accent. My English is not very good. I may need a moment to find the right words, but I can explain my point clearly.
In the second version, she is focusing on communication instead of apologizing for herself.
My goal is connection, not perfection. If the other person understands my message, the conversation is working.
The goal is not to sound like someone else. It is to sound like a calm and clear version of you. So, if confidence is not about accent, what is it about?
We broke it down into a few practical habits. Slow down slightly, use simple sentence structure, pause when you need to think, recover calmly after a mistake, and finish the thought you started.
Let's hear what that difference sounds like in a real sentence. First, listen to the nervous version. Sorry, I'm not sure how to explain this. Maybe the main problem is the deadline? I don't know if that makes sense.
Now hear the same idea with a calmer delivery.
Let me think for a second. The main problem is the deadline.
The language is almost the same. The difference is that the second speaker sounds like someone thinking, not someone apologizing.
Confident English is often simple English delivered calmly. You do not need harder words. You need a clearer message.
The second myth is that confident speakers never pause.
I used to believe this when I was learning Spanish. I thought fluent speakers always talked smoothly, with no gaps at all.
We notice our own pauses much more than we notice other people's, but a pause is not automatically a failure. It can be a useful tool.
The key is how you use that pause. Let's hear the difference. First, listen to a nervous pause. So, the thing is, I think maybe we are behind schedule.
This time, notice what changes when the pause is calm and intentional.
Let me think for a second. Okay, the thing is, we are behind schedule.
In the second version, he tells us that he is thinking. The phrase, "let me think for a second," fills the space naturally and gives him time.
Native speakers often use phrases like, "give me a second," let me think about that, or I want to explain this clearly.
Nobody expects every sentence to arrive immediately. When you feel nervous, use one clear phrase, take a breath, and continue. The third myth is that confidence means speaking fast.
Fast speech can sound fluent, so I understand why learners make that connection, but fluent and fast are not the same thing.
When people feel nervous, they often speed up because they want to finish the sentence as quickly as possible.
And that change in speed can completely change how confident you sound. Let's compare the same message two ways.
So basically, I think the meeting should probably move to Thursday because Friday is not going to work for most of the team, I think.
Now hear the same message at a calm, steady pace.
I think we should move the meeting to Thursday. Friday is not going to work for most of the team.
The second version is easier to follow, and it sounds like the speaker is sure of what she is saying.
Speaking a little more slowly doesn't make you less fluent. It often makes you sound clearer and more confident.
Think about the calmest person in a meeting. That person is rarely the fastest speaker. They are usually the one with the steadiest pace.
And nerves can show up in another way, too.
The fourth myth is that you should stop and apologize every time you make a mistake.
This is a very natural habit. You use the wrong word, and suddenly the conversation becomes, sorry, my English is bad.
The problem is that repeated apologies pull attention toward the mistake instead of helping the listener move past it.
Listen to what happens when the apology becomes bigger than the mistake.
Sorry, that was wrong. My English is not very good. Let me try again.
Now compare that with a smoother recovery.
Let me say that again. What I mean is, we need the report by Thursday.
One short recovery phrase does the job. He corrects the message and keeps moving.
You can say, let me say that again. You can also say, what I mean is, or let me rephrase that.
Everyone misspeaks sometimes, including native speakers. The confident habit is recovering without turning the mistake into a major event.
If you cannot remember one word, try saying, the word I'm looking for is... It gives you time without stopping the conversation.
And sometimes the problem is not the mistake itself. It is what we do right after it.
The fifth myth is that you should restart a sentence again and again until it sounds perfect.
This can happen when you judge every word while you are still speaking. You start, stop, change direction, and eventually lose the original idea.
Here is the restart habit in action.
I think the main issue is time. No, sorry, the problem is the schedule. Maybe we need more time. Sorry, let me start again.
Now listen to the same message when she commits to a simple sentence.
I think the main issue is time. We need one more day to finish the project.
The second version is not complicated or polished. It is simply clear and complete.
If you start a simple sentence, try to finish it. You can always add more detail afterward.
A finished thought gives the listener something clear to respond to. Those are the 5 myths. Now let's turn the ideas behind them into language you can use in your next conversation.
One of the easiest ways to sound more confident is to use simple structure phrases.
Useful phrases include the main point is, the reason is, and to be clear.
These phrases help the listener follow your idea and help you organize the details. Let's hear how the same idea sounds without a clear structure phrase.
The project is late because, well, we do not have enough time, and we also need more help.
Now here is the same idea with a clearer structure.
To be clear, the main issue is time. We need one more person or one more day.
A clear structure makes even simple English sound organized and confident.
Structure helps you organize a sentence, but even with a clear structure, you may still get stuck on a word.
So let's see how a confident recovery works in the middle of a real answer.
Let's put Emily on the spot with a quick question.
Thanks, Ben. Go ahead.
Emily, what is one common mistake new teachers make?
Good question. Let me think. The word I'm looking for is overcorrecting. Let me rephrase that. New teachers sometimes correct too many small mistakes at once, and that can overwhelm the student.
She needed a moment, used the phrase, "the word I'm looking for is," and clarified the idea with, "let me rephrase that."
That is how recovery works. You do not need to hide the pause. You give yourself a bridge to the next sentence.
You can also say, "I lost my train of thought." That means I forgot what I was saying. Before we practice everything together, let's return to the accent question for one moment.
Pronunciation matters when a sound or word causes real confusion.
Improving clarity does not mean erasing your accent. You can improve your pronunciation and still sound like yourself.
Many confident professionals communicate clearly in English with noticeable accents.
Do not wait for a perfect accent before you participate. Keep speaking while you improve. I learned exactly this lesson when I lived in Mexico. I had to call a plumber in Spanish on the phone with nothing to point at.
Phone calls are difficult because you cannot show the other person what you mean.
Exactly. My heart was racing and I completely forgot the Spanish word for leak. So I said, "Water is coming from the wall. A lot."
And did he understand?
He understood immediately and arrived about an hour later. It was not elegant Spanish, but it was clear enough to solve the problem.
That is a great example of what we mean by clear enough. You do not need the perfect word to keep a conversation moving. Now, let's put everything into one realistic work situation.
I will play an English learner preparing for a meeting. I need to tell my manager that the project is behind schedule. I am nervous about my accent, and I am worried that I will make a mistake.
I will coach you through it. What is the main message you need to communicate?
We need one more week because 2 people on the team were out sick.
Good. First, give me the nervous version.
So, sorry, the project? I mean, some people were sick and maybe we need, more time?
Your grammar is not the main problem there. The message becomes hard to follow because of the apologies, the restarts, and the lack of a clear opening.
That is exactly how it feels when I am nervous.
Start with the main point. Say it in one complete sentence.
The main point is that we are behind schedule because 2 people were out sick.
Good. Now include the action you need from your manager.
We need one more week to finish the project.
Great. Now I will be the manager and ask a follow-up question. Why do you need a full week?
Let me think for a second. We lost about 4 working days, and we still need time to complete the final checks.
That pause sounded natural because you used it before answering a real question.
And if I do not know the answer to something, I can say, "Let me check and get back to you."
Exactly. Now let's hear the full conversation from the beginning.
The main point is that we are behind schedule because 2 people were out sick this week. We need one more week to finish the project.
Why do you need a full week?
Let me think for a second. We lost about 4 working days, and we still need time to complete the final checks.
Are you confident that one more week will be enough?
Based on our current progress, yes. I will confirm the final timeline with the team and get back to you this afternoon.
That version has a clear opening, a direct request, a natural pause, and a calm way to handle uncertainty.
Saying it that way already feels much less stressful.
Confidence grows when you practice a few reliable habits until they feel familiar.
Let's bring the most useful habits together before we finish.
When nerves make you speak too fast, slow down. When you need time, use a phrase like, "Let me think for a second," or "Give me a second."
When you make a mistake, recover with "what I mean is," "let me say that again," or "let me rephrase that." And when you start a simple sentence, finish the thought before you judge it.
Simple phrases can also give your message direction. Before an important call or meeting, prepare one opening phrase. You can say, "The main point is," or "to be clear."
None of these habits require a new accent. They help you use the English you already have with more control.
Before you go, choose one phrase from today's episode that you will try this week. Write it in the comments so you are more likely to remember it.
If this episode helped you feel more in control of your English, subscribe to Daily Duo English for more real conversation practice.
Remember, you do not need a perfect accent to sound confident. You need clarity, calm pacing, and a few phrases you trust.
We're your Daily Duo.
And your English speaking buddies. See you in the next one.